Hafide Guam, this is Weekend Edition. I'm Jason Salas. Thanks so much for tuning in. These are your top stories this island weekend. Well, Rudy Kanata in crime news will spend life in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years for the 2021 murder of former Mayor Daniel Sanchez of Humatec. The sentence handed down earlier this week in Superior Court follows a retrial ordered after the Guam Supreme Court overturned his original conviction over misconduct. Judge Vern Perez credited Kanata with more than 5 years of time served, meaning he could seek parole in about a decade. A jury found Kanata guilty of murder in less than a day of deliberations after prosecutors again relied on testimony from a key witness who said she saw the attack. Defense attorney Tom Fisher says an appeal will be filed arguing constitutional violations during the retrial, including the late disclosure of a critical witness statement. Kanata declined to address the court. In other island news, Guam is set to receive nearly $9.5 million in federal funding with which to tackle harmful contaminants in our drinking water. The U.S. EPA announced the grant through its Emerging Contaminants Program targeting PFAS, also known as forever chemicals. The funding will support water testing, planning, and infrastructure upgrades for local systems and private wells, prioritizing small and disadvantaged communities. EPA officials say the investment is part of a broader national effort to reduce exposure and ensure safe, clean drinking water across all territories of the United States. In other news, the Office of Public Accountability is raising concerns over how a key environmental fund is being managed. A new audit found the Guam EPA did not consistently follow legal and financial requirements for its recycling revolving fund, creating gaps in transparency and accountability. Auditors say rules governing the fund were never fully codified, leading to conflicts between law and regulations, while internal reports could not be reliably matched to official records. At the program level, funding for the Mayor's Council's island-wide environmental cleanup program lacked required plans and approvals, with questions also raised about when and how money was spent. Public Auditor B.J. Cruz called the issues material weaknesses that could delay services and erode public trust, urging the Guam EPA to update regulations and to strengthen oversight. Now, more than a month after Super Typhoon Sinlaku devastated the islands to the north of Saipan and Tinian, and many survivors there are still waiting for critical help. And now, Red Cross officials are addressing growing frustration over delays in financial assistance, shelter transitions, and the time it takes to process aid applications.
So what is the average wait time right now for a family in Saipan to receive cash if they apply with Red Cross? Red Cross Disaster Response Incident Commander Betsy Whithon spoke with Mariana's Press.
Good question. Right now, it's somewhere between 5 and 11 days. I wish I could be more specific, but what's happening is that we are working really closely with the mayor's office to make sure we have the absolute accurate data so that we can get financial services to the folks that are most affected by this. And I can tell you that you've got a big team in here helping and working with the mayor's office to help move that along as quickly as we can.
And if you have your documents complete?
Well, it's faster if you have all the documents completed. If you come into the site and you've got an ID that has your name and your street address, and then we can open a case, we can get it in there, and then we simply need to find out if the damage falls within the same categories that FEMA has for qualifying damage. And we like to help everybody, and we are funded by donations, and we are helping those that have the absolute worst damage on their home.
Absolute worst damage? Does all 4 doors of a home need to be down?
It doesn't have to be all 4 walls down. It could be your roof is blown off, or even your roof is fine, but you cook outside.
If damage is not the magnitude where it involves financial assistance?
We help with tarps, we help with cleanup kits, we've helped with some food. That has gone to over almost 8,000 households here on the island to help with that.
Jen Charfris, KUAM News.
From the CNMI, let's go now to the mainland as an outbreak of wildfires in Southern California has added at least a half dozen new fires in the last day. And northwest of Los Angeles, the Sandy Fire continues to spread, threatening hundreds of homes. Tens of thousands of people have been told to evacuate.
New wildfires popping up in Southern California are spreading dangerously close to homes in Riverside County, east of Los Angeles. And overnight, towering flames and wind sent those embers flying dozens of yards in the air.
We've lived in this house right here on the corner for 36 years now. We've never had anything come this close.
It's called the Bane Fire. Firefighters on the ground battling it while helicopters dump water over the fire, which has now burned more than 1,300 acres. About 40 miles south, another wildfire jumped containment lines, burning 600 acres. And the Sandy Fire made a late run Tuesday. It's burned about 1,700 acres. Wow. In Simi Valley, west of LA, we watched a furious air assault.
You can hear that siren. There is a helicopter going through that cloud of smoke, flying just off the deck, dumping water. We can't see it.
But the fire kept surging.
You can feel the heat. This entire neighborhood is just smothered with smoke right now. You can see that C-130 lumbering low, dropping that red Phosgene all over, trying to stop that fire from moving forward. And I want to show you what it's threatening. These homes where there are firefighters. And right here, we're about to get rained on with Phosgene. The wind carrying it over towards us.
After we watched firefighters save Cheryl Robinson Collins' home on Monday, we went back Tuesday to check in.
And it was just like that constantly, one after another, just nonstop, and you did feel like a war zone.
More than 43,000 people have been ordered to evacuate. Fire Captain Phil Corsi says that on this street in Simi Valley, engines are stationed at roughly every other house.
You can see it just on the other side here where those other firefighters are.
Yeah, definitely. We're concerned this little drainage right here that it's going to come back up towards where we're at. We're just focusing on if anything catches in the yards or catches in the houses.
There are about 1,000 firefighters in Southern California battling these fires, and they're going to have to contend with spot fires like this. Once the wind picks up again later today, this could turn into something much larger. Another issue across Southern California is the smoke and air quality. Millions of people right now are under air quality warnings, and you can smell this smoke from over 50 miles away. Matt Gutman, CBS News, Simi Valley, California.
Well, back here at home, graduation season is obviously here, and this next story goes out to one of our own. KUAM producer Janice Carrasco, who is part of the recent Asia 2026 cohort. She and her classmates received their degrees from the University of Maryland's global campus. Here's Don Sulat with the details.
Janice Carrasco, cum laude. That's my beautiful mom.
The University of Maryland Global Campus saw a total of 714 students from their Asia Spring 2026 cohort graduate on May 9th. Among those who turned their tassel was KUAM's own Janice Carrasco, earning her degree with a bachelor's in communications. Janice telling her story on how she was able to balance being a mother of three, a full-time reporter, and going to school full-time.
The drive is every day. It's willing to want to do things, never stopping, always believing in yourself, being an inspiration to others, and really my thrive is my kids. I had the support of my husband. With the support of my family, it's been a lot easier because they've been able to help me balance everything. But it's really the drive, it's really the wanting it. And it took me a while to obtain it, but I got it. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Of the over 700 students in UMGC's Asia class, 42 of those students had their own commencement ceremony at the Hilton Resort on Sunday, May 9th. The 42 students comprised of graduates hailing from 11 states, 6 countries, and territories. Some of those numbers include folks born here on Guam to as far as Colombia, Nicaragua, and Germany. The youngest to receive their degree was 20 years old, with the oldest being 61 years old, showing that there is no set timeline on education.
We have to keep going. This is what I wanted, and I didn't want to stop. I paused for some time, but I did it, and it feels amazing. A lot of mixed emotions. I'm super happy, super achieved, and I'm super excited for my future endeavors and also with KUAM. I'm already living my dreams, so this is just completing it, just putting the cherry on top of that cake.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Don Sulat.
All right, congratulations, Janice. We're all very, very happy for you and your family. And you know what? A bunch of us in the back were betting that she would cry during that segment. So we're going to have to talk about that. All right, congratulations to you. Speaking of investing in oneself, the Guam Contractors Association is investing in the next generation of skilled workers, awarding some 22 scholarships totaling $37,500 during their monthly membership meeting Wednesday over at the Westin in Tumon. Now, the funding supported by First Hawaiian Bank, Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines, the GCA Golf Fundraiser, and the James L. and Rosita S. Adkins Foundation will help students attend the GCA Trades Academy. Recipients will train in high-demand fields like electrical, plumbing, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, welding, and construction management, key areas supporting Guam's growing infrastructure needs. GCA Education Director Francine Taidigui says the scholarships represent an investment in the island's future, empowering the next generation of trade professionals to build and sustain the community. And also tonight, a new push to elevate Chamorro culture is now underway. The Guam Visitors Bureau, the Department of Chamorro Affairs, and the Guam Museum are opening recruitment for the relaunched Guam National Indigenous Performing Arts Academy. The program is looking for dancers, musicians, and cultural ambassadors to represent our island through performances, tourism initiatives, and international events. No experience is required, and applicants must be 16 or older, with travel opportunities available for those 18 and up. Applications are open through May the 28th at visitguam.com/ambassador. That URL one time, visitguam.com/ambassador. Auditions and interviews are set for June 13th, downtown at the Guam Museum, with introductory workshops scheduled for May 25th and 27th. Organizers say the Academy is more than performance. It's about preserving culture, building leadership, and preparing the next generation to represent Guam on a global stage. All right, please stay tuned. There is more Weekend Edition coming up.
This Memorial Day, save big at Kmart. Upgrade your home with incredible deals on home appliances, including full-size refrigerators from brands like Hisense and Wizard, starting at just $4.99. Refresh every room with stylish, affordable furniture made for comfort and everyday living. And get the sleep you've been dreaming of with the new Eon Home Mattress Collection. All in stock and ready to take home today. Don't wait. Shop these Memorial Day savings now at Kmart.
Don't need to worry, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Hafa everybody, I'm Jason Salas here in Dedido, my home village. And you know, Santa Barbara, the church, the Loop, the Catholic school has always been such an amazing signpost and institution here in the Northern Village. And Santa Barbara Catholic School is celebrating its Diamond Jubilee, 75 years of teaching young men and women here on Guam a proper Catholic education. Ernest Choco is a alumni of this wonderful school, and his sister Maria Rosario Gaiti is the principal. Hafa to you both, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sister, what a place of history this is. And if my math is correct, I may need to take one of your mathematics courses because my arithmetic may be off, but this place started like right around the time, right after the war, right?
Yes. We were founded in 1950. Mm-hmm. So that's like, 4 years. 1946 was the end of the war. Mm-hmm. And, 1950, the Sisters of Mercy established this school together with Father Fulgence Petrie, who was a OFM Cap. Capuchin, and was our pastor here at Santa Barbara Parish. And
Guam, even going back that time, has always been the most populous village. There's a lot of Northern Guamanians who have called this place their home. Many have gone on to either Father Duenas or Academy. Ernest went to Sanchez. A lot of people call this home and still come back today and still have such fond memories of their time here being a student.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, what are some of the traditions and the principles of this place as an institution of learning?
Well, Santa Barbara, we have this motto that we say and we perpetuate, and that is we educate the mind, the heart, and the spirit of our students. So for the past 75 years, that's what we have been doing. So it's not just educating them intellectually with academics, but we also make sure that their heart and their spirit are also formed. So we involve them in the performing arts, in sports, in a lot of service projects and spiritual works of mercy.
Community service is also obviously very big.
Yes, definitely.
And I wanted to ask you, sister, because this is such, as a student of history myself, I've always thought that the Spartan is such a great mascot for the school. I mean, these were dutiful, disciplined soldiers back in the Greek Empire. Very, very devoted to each other, to the city-state to which they belong and everything. Like, what is the Spartan spirit?
The Spartan spirit is strong, determined, they're focused, and they will...
and they can overcome.
And they can overcome adversities. They're resilient, and many more.
Also very humble servants, too.
And of course, yes, humble servants.
Okay, and of course, you guys, you know, if my buddy Ernest Achoco is here, we are talking about the fact that, Ernest, Santa Barbara has also made, throughout its history, a lot more in the last, like, 30 years, I would say, such a big impact on the performing arts community.
Oh, yes. Santa Barbara is actually where I started performing arts. And now
They gave you the bug.
Yes, the bug, the spark was there. And if it wasn't for Tito Ben, I have to give a big shout out to my uncle, Tito Benji Diola. So when I was a little boy, you know, I was kind of, we're required to, that's the nicer way to say it, because he's my uncle. I was forced to be in the shows. But it was such a wonderful thing for me to experience, because that's kind of the thing that where I kind of, I sparked my interest, but I was able to expand my creativity as a child, because, you know, you're so structured in the core subjects of the school that when you go into the art world, everything is kind of like, there's no real structure. There's more of this ability to give you a space to learn what you're made of. And being in these shows, being in the art classes here at the Santa Barbara really helped me to kind of form who I was in my foundation as an artist. Yeah.
So it's the performing arts, it's
visual arts,
fine arts, visual arts, and everything. Sister,
and also sports.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about it. You know,
sports.
I'm a big sports guy and everything. Sister, volleyball has been a tradition here. Basketball. You know,
Yes.
That is part of a proper, like a Catholic education too, is like you said, mind, heart, and body, right?
Yes, it's really educating the whole person. I'm sorry to say it's a very trite expression, but...
And you're a sports person yourself.
Yes, but really we need to engage our students in different avenues so that they grow up to be good people, they grow up to be responsible members of the community, etc. So speaking about sports, I just wanted to say that we are currently the champion for volleyball. We are back-to-back champions. So from last year, we were the champion, and we defended it again this year.
And also dovetailing back to the performing arts, your dance team.
Yes.
Yeah, the very first year, last year, when dance became an interscholastic sport, Santa Barbara was overall champion.
Yes, and then this year again, we won in the small group category and the large group category. We ranked #1. So again, that's another piece to celebrate as far as our students are concerned.
Okay. How big is the student population now? Like, what is the enrollment, Sister?
Currently, we have around 330 students.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's a pretty good ratio of teacher to student and everything like that. You know, I mean, you can have big classes, but at the same time, you get a lot of hands-on instruction.
Yes.
And you get to know your students on a very personal level.
Yes, that's very true.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the facilities, too, because, like, and guys, if you haven't been back to Santa Barbara, like, in a while, please come up to Dededo, you know, make an appointment, you know, book a tour and everything like that, because the facilities, Sister, are absolutely beautiful. The courtyard, the murals that are up now. Now, there's a brand new statue that's just been donated by one of the alumni of Santa Barbara herself and everything. This place is beautiful.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for noticing all of the developments here at Santa Barbara. We just have been blessed, really, the past couple of years through grants that we were able to get from Homeland Security. We were able to secure our school by building new fences, new gates, and then at the same time improvement of some of the facilities, new bathrooms. Now we have a new murals, a shrine of Santa Barbara donated by one of our parents. Yeah, so those are just some of the facilities, and then of course the upgrading of our PA system. What else? Cybersecurity. What else? There's so many I get to mention.
So it is an institution that is rooted in the fundamentals of a good Christian education. It's also very, very contemporary and very, very modern. So your students here will get a cutting edge education that is right up there with like what everybody else is learning, like at the highest levels.
Freedom, that's a cheap thing. Freedom to ignore this, that's a cheap thing. Sacrificing facial hair to nature, And involuntary blood donations? Cheap things. No one signs up for an 800-pound bear chase. But if it happens, cheap thing. VIP parking, exfoliating, treating gravity like a suggestion, saying it'll dry. Free-range parenting, forgetting if that's a moose or an elk, all cheap things. Remembering without saying it. Couldn't be more of a cheap thing. Sweating your tail off, freezing your tail off, an American saving another American's tail. Cheap things. Making a cheap vehicle for only people with cash like him? Not a cheap thing. Or confusing capability with unaffordability? No, not a cheap thing. Making adventure affordable? Now that's a cheap thing. So we're bringing you more cheap things this year, because cheap things should be everyone's thing.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Beyond the Game is presented by Gatorade. On the field, on the court, in the game. But what happens beyond the game? Get stories behind the stats, the players behind the plays, and the teams making an impact on and off the field. Join us every weekend on KUAM News Weekend Edition for Beyond the Game, because sports are more than just a score. Only on KUAM, Guam's leader in sports coverage, Beyond the Game is presented by Gatorade. Okay, everybody, when you interview friends who are succeeding, who are maturing, who are really taking, their craft to the next level, like it's the best and everything like that. And Koto Blas is back home after his freshman year from Loyola Marymount University. Welcome home, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back. You take the island for granted when you're gone for so long, but now that I'm back, I'm just want to see everybody in the first week, But
there you go. And you can't see it right now, but he's grown maybe a couple inches right now. You're 5'9", maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
With shoes on, but okay. I'm just happy I got to be back and, wanted to get with you and just kind of go over everything. But man, Jason, it's been a while since I last talked to you.
Yeah, absolutely. We were right over there on the other side after he just graduated from FD, talking about plans to attend LMU, what you want to do with, your work with Clutch and everything. But first and foremost, how's your first semester or your first year of college been? Because that can be hard.
Yeah, the first year, for anybody, it's just about adjusting and just finding the right friends and just kind of finding yourself where you're located. But man, it's been a crazy first year. I've done so many things that were goals of mine to be done in my senior year of college, but to be able to check that off the bucket list in my first year of college is just, it's something that I'm super proud of.
Okay, and then there's the other thing that, of course, everybody went crazy for is you actually shot the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
I interviewed you right leading up to that and everything like that. So get us up to speed. How was that like?
Yeah, so, talking about it was one thing with you, but actually being there was surreal. I was sitting with players like this. I interviewed a couple of the Seahawks and the Patriots, and it was just insane just being, with those players, because I'm literally just a kid from the island, And as much as I cover the sports here and as much as I really love the competition here, being able to cover that caliber and that level, the NFL is just something that you can't experience twice, right? Hopefully in the future I will, but that's a first experience that I can never forget.
Have you ever been to a venue that's got that many people in it?
No, absolutely not. There was kids that were, yelling at me because I was just inside the gates. There were people that were clapping my hand just because I was inside the gates, even though I was just a media guy. So nice. It was insane just seeing the players there and then actually watching them perform on TV in the Super Bowl. But being there for Media Row was just insane. I saw all my favorite players. It was crazy.
Okay, so you've got 2 semesters of quality education underneath your belt. There's a lot of Guam people that have gone to LMU. Our own Kobe Onodera went to LMU.
Yeah.
He always speaks highly of it. What kind of classes were you taking?
I was taking just all the core classes. I would say my toughest course was probably economics. I'm smart with the camera, but when it comes to math, I'm a little iffy. But I think.
Well, you know what that's like. You supply and demand.
Supply, demand, and then the angles, geometry, right?
There you go. But we have enough supply of athletes and everything. We have a demand for sports.
Yeah, it was just a lot of business core classes because I'm doing marketing, but it was tough. It was tough, but balancing it all really taught me that I can do anything if I put my mind to it.
Okay, and now you have broadened your photography, your videography, your filmmaking range and everything like that. So what are you working on right now?
Right now, well, just before.
What aren't you working on right now?
But just before I got here, I was working on some client work. I had a jiu-jitsu client over in South Bay in California. His dad owns a gym. It's called Alliance Jiu-Jitsu by Cobrina. He's the #1 Brazilian jiu-jitsu athlete in the world. Yeah. Yeah.
What is it like to breathe the same air with like those kind of people? I mean, I've had the pleasure of interviewing people like, in the year that you've been gone. Rain Rio, so they just retired his jersey at GW. Gia Peters won her 3rd straight MVP for girls basketball at St. John's. And you get a deeper sense of knowledge about the game.
Absolutely.
You get humility and everything like that. How is it like to interview somebody at that caliber?
I mean, of course we have dogs back here on Guam, right? And just being able to work with athletes like that here was something that, is great to experience, but actually going out and working with people like that, I realized that everybody's human, right? We all are human and we can all do the same things, but these athletes put in the work day in and day out, and being able to actually film behind the scenes and do that makes me realize that anybody can do it, right? But these athletes are it's insane, right? Because you look at their workout regimen, you look at their practice, their schedules, there's no breaks for anything. And that's something that like you said, you asked me, what it's like working with these athletes. I think it's motivated me to be a better version of myself because I've learned to put my head down, do the work, and it'll show in the future.
It's funny, as athletes, we use the word grind so much and everything like that, because it's part of who we are. But when you actually see people take to it like that, you sacrifice an immense amount of, time with your friends, food you
Absolutely.
can eat, social media time and everything like that.
And you know how it is, right? Having days, back-to-back days, or even like a packed weekend or like a tournament, and not being able to, have your regular routine, right?
Okay, and since you're so close to the Bay Area, more or less, you've done some stuff with USF too.
Yes, I was actually going to talk about that. So LMU went up to USF and they played them. And
Polydons.
Yes.
Yeah, University of San Francisco. Okay,
Yes.
Greatest achievement is Bill Russell won a national championship there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Bill Russell? Okay. I didn't even know that.
They haven't won a tremendous amount of stuff like in the last 40 years and everything. Yeah, at one point they were the best basketball team in the country.
Yeah, so USF has always been a higher seed than LMU this entire season, but we beat them both times. So I was like, okay, I think LMU's gonna get this win. They did it at home. I wanted to go to the away. I was already up there for the Pro Bowl, and I decided to go, and it was a great experience just traveling with the team, and that really solidified my relationship with the coaches and the other media team.
Beyond the Game is presented by Gatorade. On the field, on the court, in the game. But what happens beyond the game? Get stories behind the stats, the players behind the plays, and the team making an impact on and off the field. Join us every weekend on KUAM News Weekend Edition for Beyond the Game, because sports are more than just a score. Only on KUAM, Guam's leader in sports coverage, Beyond the Game is presented by Gatorade.
Now, for a limited time, get our largest pizza at our lowest price. Just $9.99 for our classic New York-style pizza. It's 30% larger than our large, and at only $9.99 for carryout. Don't wait. Order now at your Island Pizza Hut.
It smells hard. I'm trying to think of any of the songs. Did he do Bumblebee? Flight of the Bumblebee? I don't think that was it.
In Myville, brought to you by Pepsi.
Of In Myville. Today we're in Harmon checking out 7 Day Supermarket. 7 Day Supermarket is a local grocery store on Guam with 2 locations, one in Harmon and one in Zotnia. They offer a full-scale shopping experience with a neighborhood feel, focusing on convenience and community. So they have an expansive selection of Korean, Filipino, and other Asian imports, as well as American goods. Their inventory is stacked with international ingredients, unique snacks, specialty condiments, frozen foods, fresh meat, and seafood counters. Although this place is in a high-traffic commercial area, 7 Day Supermarket aims to giving you fast and accessible ways to shop for your groceries. All right, guys, that wraps up this episode of In Myville. Be sure to come by 7 Day Supermarket because they are partnering with Pepsi to give away a shopping spree. So all you have to do is buy 2 participating 12-packs for any Pepsi product, and you'll automatically be given an entry form.
First place gets $250 in gift certificates, second place is $100, and third place is $50.
So that'll be 3 winners per location, here in Harmon and there at Zonia.
In Myville, brought to you by Pepsi.
A KUAM broadcast wouldn't be anything without your Cold Stone Creamery birthday shout out. So here is who is blowing out the candles this weekend. Happy birthday to one of our own, Mr. Creativity over in our news department. Does a whole bunch of stuff, went to film school, super nice guy. And on the day of rest Sunday, Mitchell Matabusen, a member of our family here, has a birthday today, blowing out the candles with his beautiful wife and his wonderful son. Happy birthday, Daddy Fresh. Thank you for being the best dad and partner we could ever ask for. Your family says, I love you most times. Hey, wow. Mitch, man, it's great having you as part of our team, a part of our family and everything. And we wish you and Corbin and Major the best birthday weekend ever do. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com. That's going to do it for your weekend news, everybody. We close out with more of your shout outs to your amazing mothers.
Moments with Mom is brought to you by KUAM Communications, Pacific Points, Do More, Get More, Foodies, Eat, Drink, Happy, and Enterprise Rent-A-Car, here for it.
Why couldn't you half a day?